At the start of this year, the world seemed, in general, to be quite optimistic about autonomous vehicles. Following the passing of a bipartisan bill on autonomous vehicles last September by the US House of Representatives, the US Senate was working hard on its own set of measures governing autonomous vehicle development and deployment. But in the intervening time, very little has happened on the legislative front, and two major fatal crashes involving a fully autonomous yet supervised Uber taxi in Arizona and a semi-autonomous Tesla Model X in California haven't helped the public image of self-driving cars one little bit. The result? Consumers aren't any happier riding in an autonomous or a semi-autonomous car than they were last year, and in some cases, the accidents, regardless of blame, have provided validation for the views of those who are cautious about adopting autonomous vehicles. And legislators, who were once a lot easier to sway on the subject of autonomous vehicles, are now holding back, unsure of just what they should do. So, who's to blame? How can autonomous vehicle legislation be written now? And what's needed to push autonomous vehicle adoption forwards? Well, honestly, it's accumulation of different things, but it really boils down to one thing: education. As I've said very many times on this channel before, the key problem here is confusion over the technology and how it works. Generally, when someone doesn't understand a new technology, they are less likely to trust it than when they do understand the technology. It's why, for example, early cars were viewed with distrust by large parts of the population, and why, even today, there are many people who just won't get on an airplane because they don't understand the physics of flight. Moreover, legislators aren't any different to the general population. If they don't understand the technology, then they won't be likely to support it unless they can see measurable benefits to that technology for society. Telling someone that autonomous vehicles will save millions of lives a year, cut greenhouse gas emissions, and help deal with congestion is great. But those claims have to be backed up with data, visible, replicable data. And even then, one bad experience takes 10 or more positive experiences before someone will be willing to trust that technology again. Two crashes in quick succession, both involving autonomous vehicles and both resulting in deaths, is about the worst thing that could have happened. And before I go any further, I know someone, at least I hope someone, will call me out on that previous statement: autonomous vehicles. The Tesla autopilot system isn't fully autonomous after all, is it? It's just a very advanced driver assistance system. Yet, that's not what your average consumer or legislator thinks when they discuss autonomous vehicles. To most of them, any vehicle that can drive along without human input on the steering wheel is autonomous. And when there's a failure in that system that leads to a death, it's very easy to jump to the conclusion that the computer system is always at fault. Except when talking about semi-autonomous systems, or even in development, fully monitored, fully autonomous systems like the one operating in the Uber car that killed a cyclist in Arizona, they aren't just relying on the car and its programming to keep everyone safe. They're relying on humans too, and we humans make mistakes. That's not what your average consumer or legislator will see, though. Instead, they will see a system that simply isn't ready for prime time, hence the reticence to push things forwards. Automakers continuing to develop autonomous vehicle technology, like Tesla, aren't helping either, since they're pushing the boundaries of what's possible in current legal frameworks, rather than waiting for a clearly agreed framework that everyone can safely operate with. Luckily, that is on the way. This week, the UK and Michigan Governor Rick Snyder signed a memorandum of understanding to collaborate on a set of rules that autonomous vehicles will be able to follow, as well as how to roll out the technology and similar technologies globally. As governor of Michigan, home to the US auto industry, Snyder is an obvious champion of autonomous vehicles, but not every legislator is. Others are calling for tougher standards to be implemented before self-driving cars be allowed on the road, like higher insurance coverage for autonomous vehicles and a clearer definition in law of who exactly is culpable for an accident and when responsibility passes from driver to automaker. And there lies the impasse. Software companies and automakers invested in autonomous vehicles already believe in the benefits of self-driving cars. They're willing to see the big picture, and they're willing to count the thousands or millions of lives saved. But consumers and legislators need to see a more tangible evidence that autonomous vehicles are worthwhile. They need proof in the now, not in the future. It's very similar to the proof that EV advocates needed to show legislators and consumers before they accepted electric as a viable fuel choice for a car. And that's the biggest problem of all. While it's very easy to show someone how an electric car can change their life on an individual scale by letting them drive or borrow an EV for a while, it's very hard to convince people that autonomous vehicles will have a benefit for all, because until there's a critical mass of autonomous vehicles on the road, the system just cannot reach peak efficiency or peak benefits. And that's very tough to have happen when legislators and consumers see nothing but fatal accidents. So, is there a solution? Yes. Better education and better working relationships between everyone who holds a stake in the success of autonomous vehicles moving forwards. What the industry needs is collaboration, not lone actors. And right now, I'm not sure we've got that. That's it. As always, hit the notification bell to hear the moment a new show is uploaded. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to our new channel, Transport Evolved Take 2. And if you'd like to support us moving forwards, then just follow the link below and it'll show you how you can make a donation of your own. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep evolving. That's it. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.